Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammadin. Kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin. Kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Once Umar radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu came to the Masjid Nabwi and found Maaz radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu sitting and crying by the side of the grave of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He inquired why he was crying. Maaz radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu replied that he had heard Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying that the smallest hypocrisy amounts to shirk, and Allah loves those pious people who live in unknown corners so that no one looks for them when they have left a place, and if they are in crowd no one recognizes them. Their hearts are the torches of the guidance, and they keep away from all dark and dirty spots. Although many ayat of the Quran and many ahadith are there to condemn show and hypocrisy, nevertheless sometimes an open deed becomes a religious necessity. As for examples, sadaqah from a smaller number of persons may not be enough to meet an important religious requirement, in which case the difficulty could be solved through encouraging others by raising funds through open charity. For this very purpose, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that a man reciting the Quran aloud is like one giving sadaqah in public, and while reading it in low tone is like giving sadaqah quietly. Hence, the best mode of reading the Quran depends on expediency. Sometimes it may be better to read aloud and at another time in low tone. Many ulama have been quoted as saying that the first of the two ayat mentioned above refers to obligatory charity zakat as well as the optional non-nafal sadaqah. The best way to give zakat is to give publicly, as is the requirement about all obligatory performances. This is the purpose of encouraging others to fulfill the divinely ordained obligations, and also for the sake of absolving oneself from the possible blame of neglecting the payment of zakat. For the same reason, zakat is to be performed publicly in congregation. Hafiz ibn Hajar rahmatullah has said that the Allama Tabari rahmatullah and others have quoted a unanimous opinion of the ulama that the obligatory sadaqah, that is zakat, is better given openly, and the nafal sadaqah is better than given secretly. Zain ibn al-Munir rahmatullah has said that it all depends on circumstances. If the ruler is known to be unjust and property is kept concealed, giving of zakat is better kept secret. In the same way, if a person is giving followed, any type of charity given by him openly will be beneficial. Ibn Abbas in his explanation of the above mentioned ayat has said that Allah Ta'ala makes the reward for nafal sadaqah given secretly to excel 70 times the reward for open sadaqah. The reward for fard obligatory sadaqah given openly, however, excels 25 times the reward for sadaqah given secretly. Similarly, the same rule applies to all other deeds of worships, obligatory or optional. It implies that amongst all deeds, the performance of obligatory ones is best if done in public rather than in secret, because doing them secretly may bring the person concerned under false accusations of neglecting the relevant ibadah, the worship. And secondly, if such an accusation comes from persons connected with him, the value and the importance of that ibadah may leave their hearts. Open performance is preferred even in nafal ibadah if others are thereby likely to follow the example. Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu has reported Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as saying that virtues done secretly is better than the one done openly, except when the latter is meant as a possession for others. Abu Umar radiallahu anhu has said that even when Abu Zar radiallahu anhu asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as to which type of sadaqah was best, the reply was giving something quietly to the poor. To make effort to help another in spite of one's own helplessness is, however, better. The superiority of giving nafal sadaqah secretly is the basic rule. If a religious exigency be in mind, giving it publicly becomes better. That in the event of the man should not be heedless in allowing the baser self nafs and shaitans to convince him that there is an exigency in giving openly and thus ruin his sadaqah. He should rather determine carefully if there is really an exigency in giving openly. Above all, he should avoid mentioning the sadaqah given by him, because that too would be tantamount to giving openly. One hadith says that a person performs a good deed secretly and it is recorded as such that when he talks about it to someone, it is changed from secret deed to an open one, and if he keeps mentioning it to people, the same is recorded as an act of hypocrisy. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that 7 persons shall enjoy the shade of Allah Jalla Shanu when there will be no other shade on the day of judgment. What are the 7 persons? Who are the 7 persons? Inshallah, we'll see in the further. First is the just king, the ruler. Second, the young person who is nurtured in ibadat of Allah Ta'ala. Third, a person whose heart is attached to the masjid. Fourth, 2 persons who love each other for the pleasure of Allah without any worldly motive, and they meet and separate in that spirit. Fifth one is a man who, due to fear of Allah, refuses to go near a respectable, beautiful woman, sexually inclined towards him, as also a woman who, in a similar situation, refuses to meet a man. Sixth, a person who gives sadaqah so secretly that his left hand does not know what the right hand gives away. And the last one, seventh, a person who cries when remembering Allah in solitude. May Allah Ta'ala accept our deeds and give tawfiq us to walk to be of our 7 persons like this. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Subhana Rabbi Rabbil Izzat Amma Yasifun wa Salamun al Mursalin walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen.